Hi ho, hey. Taas mennään englanniksi. We go in English again. Um, Welcome to the Greenzone. This is episode 19. And in this episode, we have a privilege of having another friend from US of America. Welcome from the Detroit Rock City, Erik Kuntu, who has roots in Finland, and he's a video coordinator for the Detroit Lions of the NFL. His dad used to be the video coordinator of Buffalo Bills, and if the memory serves right, he went to the Super Bowl 4 times. So that's a big feat to follow. Hey, welcome to the show, Erik. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you guys for inviting me and having us.
How's tricks in Detroit, Rock City? How are you guys doing? It's been an odd off season for everybody. How have you guys been taking care of it?
It has been a very odd off season for sure, but things in the Motor City here, they're doing well. We've had some major obstacles we've had to go through as far as the COVID virus is concerned. We've had to, as far as the facility here, we've had to change our whole facility around. We've had to put barriers up to give spacing for the players and as well as the employees. We've moved a lot of our meeting rooms around. We have a big indoor facility that we practice, and we've actually made 2 meeting rooms out of that. We have 2 large portable TV screens, I guess if you want to call them that. They're 12 feet by 7 feet. They're huge. We use them out on our practice field. And we show our meetings on there. We have our squad meeting out there, and then we break out our offensive and defensive meetings. And then one of the big obstacles that we have, which is kind of fun, I guess, if you want to call it that, is when it rains and we're going to practice inside, we have to take all that down and then put it back up after practice. So it takes about 20 minutes prior to practice. We break it down, and then it's an hour and a half basically to set it back up because of all the wiring and the chairs and the barriers and that type of stuff. So it's an obstacle. So we're kind of hoping that it doesn't rain and we can practice outside. You know what I'm saying? But things have been going good. We've had our first game this past week. We played the Chicago Bears, and there's a lot of protocols within each stadium. We had a home game, so we had all of our protocols taken care of. It's going to be interesting. This week we get to go to Green Bay. We play Maurice's team, so I get a chance to see Mo, and we'll see how their protocols are different than ours. So a lot of them have to be the same because of the NFL, the way the NFL has run things. But each club kind of has their own little spin on it, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Okay, here's a question. My older son, Mikael, whom you met a couple of times, had a very good question. He wanted to know, how do you guys make the travel arrangements and how does it work? Because you are not playing in the bubble like NHL.
Yes, so there is some very strict protocol that we have to go through before we even get on a plane. We just had a big hour and a half meeting about that today, as far as, we have to test our players and the support staff that basically travel, our travel party, if you want to call it that. We have to take their temperature, and we wear these contact tracers. I think Maurice showed you guys them, what they look like. So these basically track you, who you come in contact with. And if you're in contact with that person for over 15 minutes, that information will go back to the NFL, the league office, and they can track you from there. So in case somebody does get symptoms, they can track to see who they were around, and then they have to quarantine that person and the person that they were with, or who they were around for more than 15 minutes. So we have to wear these on the plane. And we have social distancing on the plane, so we're going to take a very large plane. Everybody's kind of basically going to have a row to themselves. Our travel party has decreased. We can't travel with everybody that we want to, so a lot of people's roles are going to be, you're going to have other things to do besides your job pre-game. And then we have our temperature taken once we get to, before we get on the plane, after we get off the plane, before we get to the hotel. We have social distancing at the hotel as well. As far as our meals are concerned, at the hotel, everything's going to be boxed for us and the players, so we can just go kind of like a grab and go. You can just grab it and go, kind of what you want. And then game day, we have to come down and we have to get our temperature taken again. Make sure nobody is asymptomatic. We get on the bus, and once we get prior to getting into the stadium, we're going to get our temperature taken again. Make sure we change out our contact tracer because it's going to be different for the game. And then we basically handle the game as we would. And then after the game, we hand in our contact tracer, and then we get our temperature taken before we get on the bus, before we get on the plane. And there's a lot of protocols that we have to go through, and social distancing. And what's interesting too is that, like, for our game, there were no fans, so it was very interesting to be able to watch the game and hear the game, with no fans. They have 70 decibels that the league is allowing for crowd noise, but you really can't hear much out of that because of everything that's going on in the field. You got, your calls coming in from the sideline. You have your personnel, what's going on the field that hits. So it was really not a factor. And that was kind of a real major difference. It was almost like starting off like a big scrimmage, and then kind of once you get the flow. But there was a couple times there were some injured players on the field, and it was so quiet you can almost hear a pin drop. It was so eerie, if you want to call it that. So it'll be interesting when we go to Green Bay. They're not going to have any fans as well. So we'll see what their crowd noise is going to sound like. They can't exceed the 70 decibels. So, but it's an outdoor stadium versus an indoor stadium. So.
Yeah. You were talking about your staff. How many people belong to the game day staff on the sideline? How many people are you guys running there at a home game? And how many people are you taking to Green Bay now?
Well, our travel party is definitely diminished. We get to travel with more players because of the COVID. Overall, our travel party, I believe, is at close to 95 to 100. And it's changing, every day until we travel. And on the sidelines, basically, it's just our medical team, our trainers, our players, and we have, our support staff that handle the headphones, and we have tablets that are on the field that we're able to, watch the game. They're just still photos, but guys can see. So we have that staff. So, there's maybe 70 people on the sideline. That's with players and staff, which is very cut down. And if you notice, if you watch any of the games, you look at the sidelines, on both sidelines, we're only limited to one videographer to handle the highlights, one still photographer. Normally we have 3 people on the field. As far as the video side is concerned, 4 highlights. We have more than one still photographer. So each team is only allowed one highlight videographer and one photo journalist, if you want to call it that. And the reporters, if you watch, they can't go on the field either. The reporters have to stay in the stands in the first row, and they have to do their interviews from, the top row, and then ask the question exactly. Or they have a mic set up on the field. So that part's very interesting to watch. I was watching the Monday night game last night. It was interesting.
So how many people normally is in your video team or your broadcasting team? What your Lions do?
On a normal season?
In the normal season, okay, so there's 5 of us that handle the coach's video. So we're all traveling because we have essential roles, which is excellent. We shoot 2 end zones, a sideline. One of my guys handles the still shots on the field. And we have another person in the coach's booth that handles all of the basically sends the still photos for the tablets onto the field. So all 5 of us get to travel, which is great. We have a multimedia department. They're only traveling with 2 people.
Okay. You've been in Indianapolis Colts background too. How much is it changed in Detroit when you changed there? Is it much different or is it same?
Yeah, there's each staff, each organization, each club pretty much runs things different. It's been great here. It was great in Indianapolis too, but this has been tremendous here. The ownership has been fantastic. The coaches have been fantastic. We got some great players. Had the privilege to work with Andrew Luck and Peyton Manning when I was in Indianapolis, and when I was in Buffalo with the Bills, I got to work with Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas and all those guys. And coming here to Detroit, I get to work with Matthew Stafford and a bunch of great players that we have here. Jared Davis, our linebacker number 40. He's our quarterback on defense. I mean, you want to know about every defensive call, that person he's the guy. So there's some similarities, but there are some differences within the organization. But it's been great here. We've got to have you guys come up here.
Oh, let's jump to the fact that you and Mo were together in Indy, and I understood that you guys have a certain tradition whenever you meet after the games or during the games, and after the games you tend to have a sort of a Finnish beverages available in that meeting. Is that true?
Are we allowed to talk about this?
We're allowed to talk about anything.
Yes, we do. We do. And you guys have noticed that we try to post on social media. Prior to the game, we always meet and we take a picture. We wear our Crocodiles t-shirts, and we get a picture on the field with our Crocs shirts. Last year in Green Bay, Maurice picked me up in the parking lot prior to the game and drove to his house, which was less than a half a mile down the street. Saw his family, he had some visitors from Finland there, and we had some beverages, a little Korskan. Yes, it was excellent. We don't say that, but yeah, I mean, it was. So yes, prior to the games, after the games, depending on who wins or not, there's a salute, there's a cheers of a, Korskan beverage as well. So. I meant to say Mitakulu. I forgot to say that when I first started. Mitakulu.
Oh, hyvä kuuluu, hyvä kuuluu. What do you make out of the game coming up against Green Bay? They won in Minnesota, which was pretty good win for them.
Boy, I tell you what, they put some points on Minnesota's defense. I mean, they put up 43 on them. So Green Bay's offense is powerful. And you think about Aaron Rodgers, holy cow. That guy can make anything happen on the field. I mean, and he looks so nonchalant, laissez-faire when he's out there. He hangs the ball, he picks it up, and he just slings it, and it's right there where the receiver is. He's an amazing player to watch. But it's definitely going to be a battle for sure. What I'm really excited to watch is the special teams. The aspect that Mo has, because I know they always try to have something up their sleeve. We played them 2 years ago, and we had a fake field goal where they snapped it to our field goal kicker, and he passed it into the end zone, and we scored a touchdown. So Mo will never let us live it down. He always brings that up, and he's like, we've got something up in our sleeve, so just be prepared. I know he does. So we always have to watch what they're up to, I guess. But it should be a fun game.
So it's definitely going to be one to watch.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
All right, I think this will wrap it up. Thank you very much for joining us, Erik Kuntu. Our pleasure.
Hey, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And näkemiin.
Näkemiin.
Näkemiin.